Okay, everybody, this is Carolyn, and I want to talk about HIPAA, the Health Portability Act. And the reason why I am doing this is because a lot of people just sign the document. I mean, we go to the doctor and they say, here, sign this. And most people just sign it. I was one of those people until I actually start reading it. And once I start reading it was some things in there I didn't agree with. And because I didn't agree with it, I would annotate it on the document. I didn't agree with it. So, um, we're going to go through this. It's in plain English. It's been typed up as plain English. So, let's go along. Don't just sign it, understand it. So, this little mini class is going to explain the HIPAA Notice of Privacy Practices, what it means, what it does, what it does not mean, your patient rights, which is very important because there's sometimes you don't know what your healthcare provider is writing in those documents. You don't know. Even when you go into your portal, because most people say, well, Carol, I go on my portal. That's cool that you go in your portal, but you want to know what they're writing in that chart. That's what you want to know. You're also going to know about how your information is going to be shared with or without your permission, with or without your authorization. So, what is the HIPAA Notice of Privacy Practices? The HIPAA Notice of Privacy Practices is the document covered healthcare providers or health plan gives patients explaining how protected information may be used or disclosed, the patient's privacy rights, and the organization responsibilities. That's what the HIPAA notice is. So, what should the notice explain? It should explain how your health information may be used. That's normally in like the first paragraph. Treatment, payment, healthcare operations, certain disclosures required or permitted by law. 2. When written authorization is required, some uses or disclosures require authorization. The MPP itself is not an authorization, which is the Notice of Privacy Practices is not an authorization. Authorization is when you're actually signing a document and it says authorization. You have the right to access your records, request corrections. This right here is a biggie. If you see something in your medical records, health records, you do not agree with, you can request a correction. You can also request to see the correction once it is done. All right? Request confidential communications. This is another biggie. Request confidential communications. Ask for restrictions. These are your rights. A lot of people, let me say this. Some people don't know their rights. As patients, and this is why I'm doing this. Request an accounting of certain disclosures. Request an accounting of certain disclosures right here. Receive the notice. Oh, this is another one. When they give you that clipboard and they have you signing off on these documents to update their medical records, the HIPAA document is in there. And a lot of times, patients just give all the papers back to the receptionist or whoever's taking the document. That document is in there. Take it out. Take it out. Take it home. Read it. Take it out. Take it home. Read it. Choose someone to act for you. File a privacy complaint. So these are your rights. Right here. When it comes to HIPAA. You have a right to access your records. A right to request corrections. A right to request confidential communication. A right to ask for restrictions, a right to request an accounting of certain disclosures, a right to receive notice. They always going to give you that anyway. A right to choose someone to act for you, and a right to file a privacy complaint. The provider's responsibilities, meaning your healthcare provider, protects your health information, follow the current notice, notify you of certain breaches, provide the current notice. Let me highlight that. That's their responsibilities. Now, who to contact? The organization's privacy officer or contact person, and HHS Office for Civil Rights when appropriate. All right, let's keep it moving. Here's the distinction between a notice and an authorization. The notice tells you, here is how we generally handle and protect your health information, and here are your rights. That's the notice. That's the one they're going to give you. An authorization is different. It is written permission used when HIPAA requires authorization for a particular use or disclosure. Hold on, I gotta drink some water. Now, document notice of privacy practices explains privacy practices and patient rights. That you're going to receive that. Acknowledgement of receipt shows that you received a notice. It is not blanket permission to disclose your records. Authorization for disclosure. Specific written permission used when HIPAA requires authorization. Remember, signing an acknowledgement that you received a notice does not mean you gave blanket permission for the provider to share your medical records. All right? Rights that you should know about. Get a copy of your paper or electronic medical records subject to applicable rules. Now, with today's technology, people have access to their portal, hospital portal, doctor's portal, some health information portal, where you can go and request those documents. Or you can go to the medical records department and tell them, hey, I would like a copy of my medical records. Should you decide to do that, they're going to ask you for what years. Know what years you want. Be very, very specific in what you want. They may charge you for it because they print it up, and they may charge you for it. Request correction of information you believe it's incorrect or incomplete, or you're not understanding something that they put in your medical record and you disagree with it and you want to correct it. Request confidential communications when HIPAA requirements are met. Ask for restrictions on certain uses or disclosures. The provider is not always required to agree. Request an accounting of certain disclosures that is subject to HIPAA limits. Get a copy of the privacy notice. Choose someone to act for you when legally appropriate. File a privacy complaint with the authorization and or HHS office or for civil rights. So, who may receive or share your private health information without written authorization? So, I have on here important. Without authorization does not mean without rules. The disclosure must fit a HIPAA permission or requirement and comply with applicable conditions. Healthcare providers involved in treatment. These are your doctors, nurses, specialists, hospitals, laboratories, therapists, EMS providers, and other providers may share relevant health information for treatment and or care coordination. Health plans and insurers. Certain health information may be shared for payment activities such as claims, eligibility, coverage, reimbursement, and utilization review. Now, in those separate documents, they have a separate document for payment, and that payment document normally goes like this. They ask you for your health insurance information, You put that in there. But then there's a document that says if your health insurance information does not cover, you are responsible for the bill, and you sign it. Healthcare organizations, certain PHI may be used for healthcare operations such as quality improvement, care coordination, auditing compliance, credentialing, and specified administrative activities. People involved in your healthcare for payment. In certain circumstances, PHI may be shared with a family member. You sign off, you sign a release. A friend, you sign a release. And or another person involved in your care or payment subject to HIPAA's conditions. Public health authorities. Certain disclosures are permitted for legally authorized public health activities. Health oversight agencies. I don't know what just happened. Hold on, screen sharing just stopped. Let me see if I can share my screen again. Okay, let's see. Nope, that's not it. Hold on, everybody. I don't know what just happened. I just lost my screen. Give me a minute. I gotta bring it back. Let's see. See if I could bring it back up. Okay. Now I can bring it back up, I think. Hold on, y'all. I gotta. There we go. Bring it back up to where I was at. Alright, so we did that. We are here. Health oversight agencies. Certain disclosures may be made for authorized audits, investigations, inspections, licensing, and oversight agencies. Law enforcement. HIPAA permits certain disclosures under specific circumstances, such as court orders, a warrant, subpoenas, and other legally defined situations. Courts and administrative proceedings. Certain disclosures may occur when HIPAA requirements for judicial or administrative procedures are met. Abuse, neglect, or domestic violence authorities. Certain disclosures may be made to appropriate government authorities when permitted by law. Serious threats to health or safety. Certain disclosures may be permitted when necessary to prevent or lessen a serious or imminent threat. Certain specialized government functions. Additional HIPAA provisions apply to certain national security and / intelligence activities, correctional institutions, workers' compensation, and other specialized purposes. So keep in mind, this right here that we just went over is who may receive or share your information without written authorization. These are all of these organizations and individuals. Now, what to look for before you sign the document. Don't automatically sign it because someone says it's just HIPAA. Stop and read the title. Read it. Notice of privacy practices. These documents could serve different purposes. Acknowledgement of receipt. These documents could serve different purposes. Authorization for release of information. These documents can serve different purposes. Now, authorization of release of information, that means when you sign that document, you're authorizing someone that you designate to receive your health information. Whether if it's a specialist, a healthcare provider, a friend, a family member, somebody that you designated to receive your information. Consent. You give your consent for, a procedure that you're having done. Permission to disclose. You can give that permission to disclose. Questions that you want to ask. Am I acknowledging receipt or am I authorizing a disclosure? Who will have access to my health information? Why is my information being disclosed? Under what HIPAA purpose or provision are you permitted to disclose, meaning a healthcare provider? Can I get a copy of my medical report? You absolutely can, as a patient right. Can I request a correction that you're not in agreement with? Yes, you can. Who is your privacy officer or privacy contact? You can request that information. You can request that information. Let me go up. And then there was a 2026 update, which we will get to. So, HHS revised the model for HIPAA notices as of February of this year. Covered entities that create or maintain certain substance use disorder records must include information about those records and applicable to 42 CFR Part 2 requirements in their notices. The compliance date for the revised notice requirements as of February 16th, 2026. So I'm going to get into that document. So what I want you to take away is this. I have on here, key takeaway. That's what I got. So I want you to read before you sign, ask questions, request copies, and know your rights. This information can be researched. This information, I must put this in there. This information is provided for educational purposes and not legal advice. HIPAA is a federal privacy standard. Other federal or state laws may provide additional protections. Sources where I got this information from to type it up. U.S. Department of Human Health Services, Office of Civil Rights. HIPAA privacy rule. That's where this information came from. All I did was type it up and make it look presentable to do this. So there's something else that I want to share, but I just have to find a document to share it with you and see if I could pull that up as well. Okay, I'm going to, I don't know if it followed me or not. Let me see. I don't think it did. Okay, it didn't follow. It should be coming up. Give it a minute, everybody. Okay, so down here, it was something I wanted to share. Hopefully I could find it. Red flags. So, let me say this. Advocate for yourself. Patient advocacy, red flags. You signed HIPAA. So, can we share anything? HIPAA says you can't have your medical records. HIPAA means we can never talk to your family. Law enforcement can get your records whenever they want because of HIPAA. So, when somebody say this to you, that's a red flag. When somebody, I don't care who it is, when anybody say these things to you, it is a red flag. If they say you sign HIPAA so we can share anything. HIPAA says you can't have your medical records. HIPAA means we can never talk to your family. Law enforcement can get your medical records whenever they want to because of HIPAA. Red flag, everybody. Red flag. You want to always ask a person to explain the specific purpose, policy, or legal authority for disclosure. And then I have in here a patient advocacy script. Here's your script. Before I sign anything, I want to understand what this document means. It is a notice of privacy practice, an acknowledgement of receipt consent, or an authorization. If my authorization is not required, please explain the purpose of legal basis for disclosure. You can ask that if you don't quite understand something. So always read before you sign, ask questions, request copies, keep your records, have your rights concerning your health care information. So that's what I have. That's what I wanted to share with everybody. And I will talk to y'all on my next broadcast. Take care. Bye-bye.